Hey, real estate agents, welcome to the Weekly Closer. I'm your host, Jeff Underwood, along with my co-host, Joey Sampaga. What's been going on, Joey?
Nothing much. Jeff, how you doing?
Nothing much. I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Hey, we have an exciting guest with us on, and Josh has been on before, but this time it's just Josh, and that's Solo. Josh Zuniga with Kenneth James Realty. Hey, man, thanks for coming on, man.
It's so good to be back, boys. I'm happy to be on here. We got a lot more education, information to help other agents out there. I have a huge heart, for people, and I want to see everybody, excel and do wonderful in this business. So maybe sometimes the small little tips and tricks that I have over the years, can be the huge nugget that somebody can take on, in 2022 and explode their business. So I'm happy to be on, boys.
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to you sharing for sure. So we'll give a big shout out to Javier at Security Title for getting you on here.
Thank you so much, Javier.
He's a pretty cool dude, huh?
He's a great guy.
Well, let's jump into it. Josh, why don't you share with the agents that are watching and listening, what got you into real estate and how long you've been doing this?
Yeah. All right, guys. So my family's been involved in real estate for the last 30 years. So my parents run a credit reporting agency called Advantage Plus Credit Reporting. They've been here local, here based out of Phoenix and Peoria since I think like 1994.
I was going to say, I think when I was in the mortgage business, I used that service.
Yeah, really. Okay, wonderful. Yeah, so they've definitely made a presence here within the Valley and also nationally, and they also do business internationally. But they service the credit reports for some of the major banks and lenders here within the Valley and also nationwide. So when a lender pulls their credit report, they're the agency that they use instead of going directly to the bureaus. So. Yeah. And then growing up, I saw my father and my mother obviously get involved in real estate and starting to accumulate a portfolio of rental properties. And then Leo, who's also my brother, I think he's on the show last time. He's been in lending 23 or 24 years. Back when I was a young guy, because we have a 10-year gap. So he's actually 10 years older than I am. So I got to see him do very well along with my parents. And they started doing flipping and started doing renovations on properties, all kinds of wonderful things. So growing up with that mindset and being instilled, like having like an entrepreneurial spirit, my father having me read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, in high school. And he's talking to me about life, not about girls, right? And asking me, how much do you want to make? And making like a spreadsheet of, what the breakdown is for how much a house is going to be, how much your car payment is, how much your insurance is, how much kids are going to cost, everything. And I was like, son, this is what you need to do. And this is how you need to be prepared for life. So
did he have you play that game Cash Flow?
He didn't. So that came out after. I should probably get it and start playing it with my kids or even myself. I think it's very, very smart to understand the game of finances before you get out into the real world. That's and have a good play and understanding with that. We were just having a conversation with my broker earlier that, finances is taught at home. So you need to be very vigilant on how you educate your children on what the real world is, because it's going to smack them in the face, as soon as they get out there. And if they're not prepared mentally for it, then they're going to struggle, and they're going to struggle often. Struggle is a part of life. We all go through it, but the small little life lessons that you can learn at the house can help lessen, some of the times it actually takes to get through some of those hurdles. So very fortunate for my parents to be on that train and always educate me, even until today. So I actually got licensed. My plan was to go into real estate in 2008. As soon as I graduated high school, wasn't even going to go to college. Didn't see it as necessary. I was just going to ride into the family business. 08 happened in 2008, right? We all experienced the crash. So I'm like, awesome. My 10-year plan is gone, right? Just like everybody else. It was a very fruitful time for a lot of people, and I want to obviously be a part of that. But since the crash happened, my parents' business suffered. Leo had his own mortgage company at that time. That one suffered. So I was like, holy smokes, what do I do? So I just went to school. I ended up getting my bachelor's degree at ASU. And graduated from WP Carey. I went into corporate world for a couple of years. I was actually going to pharmaceutical sales and medical device sales. I'm actually very fortunate those interviews didn't pan out because it wouldn't be living, this wonderful life that real estate. It's a very, very rough business, and I didn't see myself being in the OR next to bodies and blood and machines, and just wasn't right there for me. Right. So I did corporate world for a couple of years. But I got licensed in 2013, but I always knew I was going to go back to real estate. So I did a couple of deals, between 2013 and 2015 for my father and a couple of family and friends. Got my feet wet, quite a little bit. My first deal was actually a Spanish speaking deal that Leo gave to me, and I had to bring my dad with me to translate. So I'm Hispanic, right? So that's a little embarrassing. So they call me a coconut. So I'm brown on the outside, white on the inside, right? So I was very fortunate.
Life is like that.
It is. It happens to be, right? But you take it, you roll with the punches, and you make the deal happen, and you service the customer. So that was a great experience. But going into corporate, I knew my first day was my last day. I wasn't always going to be there, right? I had a bigger mindset outside of that. And I knew that I wasn't living up to my full potential. You know, being in the corporate world, you know, I had a wonderful position with an insurance security company based in Chicago. And, you know, life was cool. You know, car was paid for my trips, got to fly, you know, a bunch of different cities. I was Southwest Territory manager. But after the first year, I knew that I already needed to start thinking about it now.
Yeah. Reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I mean, if you are an entrepreneur, I mean, that just changes your life, the way you think. And, you know, because I worked in the corporate world, and when I was laid off, that was actually one of the first books I read. And I was like, why am I doing corporate? Why am I trying to, you know, get back into corporate when I could be doing real estate? And that's back in 2002 is when I got into real estate. So
yeah, it's beautiful. Well, it's not even like real estate. You really tap into something else. I was like, hey, do I really need this corporate structure to make a means to live? Or can I take a chance on myself? That's like the biggest thing that I took out of it. I was like, the corporate world, there's no security in there.
Nope.
It's like, oh, I want job security. I want job security, right? If you want job security, you need to take a chance on yourself, not invested in somebody else and and putting on their table. So that's the shift that, you know, broke a lot of what my parents grew up with as baby boomers. Like, you need to go to do the 30 years and you know, stay there, get a pension, get a 401k, all the things, right? And a lot of parents still instill that into their kids. You know, there's nothing wrong with it, but there's way more outside of that. If you just believe in yourself and you have a roadmap and you have the mindset, and then you just hit go. Everybody has a limited potential, but not a lot of people tap into it. And they kind of fall short of their self-confidence, self-esteem, and self-belief, and just stay in the room. They never decide to open the door to their own potential. Just very unfortunate, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So in 2015, I gave my notice to the corporate world, and I jumped in full-time into real estate. So I jumped in with a luxury real estate team with Andrew Bloom. He's a big producer here within Arizona. He's got a big, well-established name for himself. So I was there for a few months, but a lot of things never came to fruition. But I thank him for the opportunity to see what it is to take for an agent to work to that caliber. And I learned a lot. I definitely learned a lot. But I was promoting him and his team. And then I jumped on another team. And I was doing the same thing until my father, you know, words of wisdom, came to me, and he's like, son, I was like, you're promoting everybody but yourself. Stop. I was like, you think they're going to do business with you because you're on that team or you're with that brokerage? He's like, no, they're going to do business because they want you and because they trust you. Light bulb.
But you also learn from those high producing agents. Now you know, I was in the martial arts, or am in the martial arts. And one of the sayings there is you follow the path that one's already created. And once you've learned as much as you could from them, then you create your own path for other people to follow.
Yes. So even going into, obviously, say in sports or say in the corporate world, you're in sales job. If you want to be the top in sales, you need to hang around with the people that are top in sales.
That's right.
Right. So you need to learn, you know, what are their habits? What are their skill sets? What do they focus on? Everything. And you need to replicate that, but then do it for yourself. Right. Because the way he operates and does his business is a lot different than the way I operate with my business. But I took lessons from each and every person, and then I doubled down on it. The person that I would say that I learned the most from was the last and final team that I joined. It was in October of 2015. I joined the Joshua Smith team, who is Revisto. So Joshua Smith, when I joined his team, he was like on cloud nine. His YouTube was blowing up. His team was blowing up. He was a number one, like probably team in the state, or at least top 3 or 5 at that time. Yeah. His podcast was blowing up. He was having Grant Cardone on it. And he said something to me that really stuck out. He's like, Josh, the game has changed, man. I was like, it's not about us going out and knocking on doors. You need to get them to figure out how to knock on your door. And you got to do that social media presence. So I was like, bingo. I was like, this is a guy that knows where the market is, where it's going, and where it's going to stay. Right. And guess what? It's on social media. Where else do you have an opportunity as an entrepreneur to completely and 100% market yourself for free on this platform? You know, when I first started, I was just doing videos like this, open house, whatever it was, educating from a phone. I didn't have the funds, you know, to do that. But I knew as myself, I had to grow and develop as a person to be able to have the courage to get in front of video. Because that's where he was. And that's where 84% of the market is. That's where 84% of corporate is going. And that's where it's going to continue to go. And that's going to continue to increase. The biggest thing somebody in this market today that's joining real estate is like, you need to be very, very active on social media, and you need to be very, very active on video. And that's what I learned from Josh. And I've taken it from since 2016 up until now. My first year in 2015, I closed one transaction, one. Leaving corporate world and going into it, you know, people think it's an easy business. It's not. I was like, ask yourself this question. I was like, you're going to try and convince somebody, or actually you're going to try and make somebody trust you to do one of the biggest transactions of their life.
That's right.
Why should they trust you? Give them a reason. Just because they know you doesn't mean they trust you. Just because they're their friend and your family doesn't mean they're going to trust you with that decision. You need to give them a reason. You need to show them why you're the authority in your space. It's the psychology that a lot of agents aren't understanding of how information is perceived from a screen. Okay. So I learned this from one of my mentors. It's called parasocial behavior, right? So your mind cannot discern between a TV screen, a television, or TV screen, a laptop, an iPad, a phone. We perceive the information all the same. Just like in an instance, that's why reality TV show is so popular. You know, Kim Kardashian, for an instance, there's millions and millions of women out there and guys that, you know, admire her. They know where she eats, sleeps, and shops, right? Everything about her life. But she doesn't know anything about them. Right? It's a one-sided relationship. So she is telling them everything about her life, and then they're feeding into it, and they become like friends. Like they feel like they have an extension of, oh, I know Kim. I love Kim. She's so nice. Her family, this, that, and the other. You have the ability to do that and create a social resume for yourself on Facebook, on Instagram, Facebook stories, Instagram stories, YouTube, LinkedIn, Vimeo, everything. One piece of video content can be repurposed probably 10 different ways. So if people type your name in on Google, do you own that page? Probably not. Your job for them is like, if somebody doesn't know you and they see your name and they're going to Google you, because trust me, they will Google you. What are they going to see? If they see your track record here and that you do a lot of videos, you do a lot of education, you know about investments, you know about the area, then you're going to win them over right there. Yeah. Just when they talk about like listing appointments, 80%. Yeah, 80%.
No, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go for it.
No, go ahead, Josh. Go ahead and finish up.
Yeah, 80% of people that go to the listing appointment are going to choose their first real estate agent. You just don't have to screw it up. So by the time you get into that door, you already won the deal. You already won the hearts and minds of these people. But the hard thing is getting inside that house and sitting at that table. So what are you going to do? How are you going to build trust with an audience if they don't see you?
Yeah.
You can only shake so many hands, have so many coffees, and go to so many lunches as one person. And one video thousands of people can see you. Yeah. So where should you be? Where's your time better spent?
So you mentioned, so you're getting into video even more going into the 2022.
Oh yeah. I'm doubling down
right?
Again.
So, and Joey, and I know it works because we've interviewed some people that are, totally into the YouTube space. Somebody just last month that was generating like 30 leads a week, all from YouTube videos. Yeah. Now those are referrals and things, but so tell us, I guess, a little bit about what your plan is for your brand and especially for your YouTube channel going forward.
Yeah. So every year I always decide, usually in Q3 or usually beginning of Q4, how I'm going to recreate myself. How am I going to stay in front of people? How am I going to be fresh and new and, deliver more content that people actually need, right? So in 2021, to add to the content, I started a podcast. right? So me and my broker have a podcast called Inside View Real Estate Podcast. And it's done great for us. It's done very, very wonderful, because obviously it was like a perfect time for it, because there's so much craziness in the market, and people would just tune in and want to know what's going on. What's the buyer's market? Is the seller market? What's the inventory like? What's the appreciation? How do we invest? How do we take advantage of these opportunities? All kinds of great things, right? So that was one way that I stayed in front of people. And even in 2020, one of the biggest things that I remember listening to when '08 happened was that a lot of corporate companies, the first budget that they kill or take away in like a downturn is their marketing budget. So, but the companies that actually doubled down and invested more into their marketing when everybody backed off are the brands that actually won the hearts and minds of the people. So in 2020, I was usually doing a video every other week. I did a video every single week. I think I did 54 transactions just that year.
Wow.
It got me to like top 1% within Arizona, which is great.
And those videos, were those on YouTube or Facebook or?
Those were just put out on my personal brand. I didn't even really, I had a YouTube channel, but I didn't really post. I think I posted the majority of them on there, and they were just education. Because if somebody had a question, I would send them a video, or I would send them directly to my website, and boom, whatever you want to know about, the selling process, the home buying process, closing costs, how real estate agents are paid, how much you need for a down payment, all those small entry level questions that millennials, which is a lot of my audience, my audience is from like 25 to 45, majority of them are wanting. So I was able to educate and build the trust from a lot of these people, using like parasocial behavior, right? And then I would get the contact. It's not like with social media, it's nothing that you can directly track unless you directly track how many Instagram messages or phone calls or text messages that you get, from social media. But it's not like directly, it's like, hey, I just watched that video and I want to use you. It's nothing like that. It's not an ad by any means, but I'm establishing trust with my audience. And the more I establish trust with my audience, I'm going to win their hearts, but also the referrals from others as well.
Absolutely.
And then it's my job to make sure it's a wonderful experience. It's a wonderful transaction. So I stay within their minds, for friends and family, and coming up when they want to sell or if they want to invest, as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So coming into 2022, we're doing the podcast again, but we're going to focus more on investing. So a lot of millennials have already, most likely within the last 2 or 3 years, if not, they're going to probably do it this year, bought their first home. And some of them have been in the workforce, maybe 3, 4, 5, 7 years. And they may have some cash, stuck left over, maybe 25,000, 50,000, 70, 100. You never know how well so many people are doing. And they're wanting to take investing into their own hands, not go hire a broker or some type of money manager or wealth management and chance it by putting it into the market. So I'm wanting to educate individuals and families on how to invest properly for themselves, for their families, and actually taking the reins into their own hands. And they can actually have physical, tangible assets that can actually create residual income with them, and potentially, generational wealth, depending on how aggressive they really want to get this. That's how you save lives, right? Give them away and give them a strategy, give them a plan to get ahead in life, not just fall in line. Yeah. Everybody that falls in line, is going down the same path. You need to break away and start taking matters into your own hands.
Yeah. So you're going to be doing that with the podcast. Are you going to be mixing in some videos then also into this marketing?
Yeah. So everything's going to do with education. I do a lot of flips here within the Valley. So I take people along that process also. What our properties look like from start to finish, how much we actually spend on them. I'll talk about reinventing myself again. I'm going to create a course on that. I'm going to partner with my broker and a lot of my hard money lenders, and some contracts locally, some city officials, to really give the information on how to flip properties properly. Because it's a cool game that everybody wants to get in, and they see HGTV and all this great stuff, but it's not as easy as TV seems. Yeah. There's issues that come up and shit always happens. And your budget is always over budget. You
Always.
You can't predict it, man. Especially this year, we ran into a lot of issues with labor. A lot of the buildings labor away. We ran into a lot of issues with supply chain, with baseboards and doors, and just
windows. Windows are huge.
Windows is a big one, and just getting things done in time. Properties that usually took 8-12 weeks took 4 or 5, sometimes 6 months. We're in a wonderful market to where the properties just kept appreciating and appreciating. But if this was a normal market, we'd be negative at this point.
SOL, yeah.
SOL for sure.
So, your podcast, is it, did you say it's a weekly podcast or twice a month or what?
We put it on pause. Well, so we've wrapped up, I guess you can call it season 1.
Yeah.
But coming into the new year, a lot of people I decided to put the brakes on it. People are busy with holidays and, their mind isn't so much, invested in doing things like that. So I decided to put a pause on it so I can stay focused and my broker can stay focused. We got a lot of things going on even before the closing of the year. And then we'll hit it up again coming in the second week of January. And like I said, we're going to have more guests this year. Normally it was just my broker and I having the conversation and the discussion, and we create micro podcasts, which is under 15 minutes. So instead of listening to people babble for an hour, you get your nuggets in 15 minutes. You're in, you're out, you're in the gym, you're going to school, you're dropping the kids off, whatever it is. So you can get your information and get what you need and then move on with your life. So
I'm curious with this podcast strategy that you're coming up with for investing, how do you, I know we're focused on our clients, but how do you expect to get business from that? So
if it's investing, if they wanted to start building their real estate portfolio, great. We can help them with that and sit down with them and see, so how much do you have? How much can you put in play? And let's create a 3, 5, 10-year plan, a strategy for you. And let's just stay disciplined with it, knowing where to invest, how to invest, how much we need to put, down for this property, or if we're going to go with a different strategy, like we just want to make some short-term money and do flipping. So we can take them in and we will start the process for them start to finish. We will identify the property. We will rehab the property. We'll market and sell it, for them as well. But the only thing that I'll require is that they find a GC relationship because my GCs are tapped out. I think 7 projects right now that we're flowing.
That's usually the hardest part. So it sounds like they're almost going to be somewhat passive other than, are you going to be coaching them on how to, what materials to use and what to instruct the GCs to do? Is that
depends on the system. So I like to make it like a one-stop shop. We already have like the systems in play. Some of my clients never even see the house. They collect a check. If they want to be involved, great. But for me at this point in time, the only thing that I'll go identify the property. I'll make sure that it's actually going to be one that fits, our buyer box. I'll line them up with a hard money lender. And then from there, we'll have a GC and we'll get an estimate on the property. And then as soon as we close, we go buy all the materials with that first week. Everything stays in the garage. And then they just pick and pull. So we only have to go there once a week, maybe, just to make sure that the workflow is going on time and we're staying on a construction schedule in order to, be done by an estimated date.
So if I cut you a check today, I get like double it in what, three months?
Come
on, hook me up.
It's usually a 4 to 6 month process of what I say for people that are looking.
All right.
Yeah. So that's what I say.
I'm just messing with you.
Yeah. But that's the potential, man. That's literally the potential. Like a lot of people don't have, $100,000 sitting, around, but maybe 2 people, maybe 4 people can go into it. The margins aren't sexy like what people think it was 5-6 years ago. Like we're making 100,000, 200,000. You do have those gems that happen every once in a while, but it takes time, right? The average flip, I would say you'd be happy making anywhere between 20 and 40 in this market. If you buy it right, you have to buy it right. And you have to know how much to invest in this property and how much you for sure can sell it. A lot of the wholesalers out there that I see are fluffing up their comps and
big time.
A lot of guys getting burned, unfortunately.
Yeah. So are you looking to, I mean, do you also say, hey, I'm creating an investor pool because we're going to be working on, a bigger project, and maybe we can do this as a syndication? Are you looking into that at all?
That's always, I talked with that with my broker 2 years ago, to do something like that. I don't think that's going to happen in 2022. There's definitely talks about it to put it in place. I'm not going to say it's never going to be off of the chopping block, but with what my focus is coming into this year, I know myself, I could say, yeah, let's do it. But I need to be very respectful to my time, and to also, I have a real estate team, their time on helping me build my business and what my goals are, and helping them build their business. Okay. My goal for 2022 is just all automation. My strength is creating content, building relationships, and staying consistent with that, and getting the deals and finding the deals, and building a trust with people. Me driving to a project twice a week, and that's in 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back, you're staying at the property for, that's 2 hours gone. Whether I could be creating content, or creating more videos, or focusing on the YouTube channel, or focusing on their business, or getting more traditional deals going in, or finding another property to flip. That's where my focus needs to be. So this year, I'm really going to be delegating responsibilities. One thing with agents, it's really tough, is that we work in our business and not on our business.
Yeah.
A lot of times. So I still do my own business. So I think I'm going to break 22 or 23 million this year, over 50 transactions. Me and my broker were just talking about it this morning. So very happy with that. But that also takes a lot of work. That's all me. Didn't have any help, didn't have any assistance. My TC moved out of state, so I'm going to get another TC this year. I'm already talking with a couple to make sure that my responsibilities are focused on strictly building the business instead of the smaller items. So I'm even actually going to hire my dad, who's like, he's been semi-retired for like ever, right? But he loves like the construction stuff. So I do flips for him also. Kind of as a gift. Like, he taught me so much. So I'll bring him a house. I'll do the whole thing for him.
Wow.
And then I'll sell it for him. And then I see it's beautiful to give back to him and show him that he just made $70,000 on his last flip, which is beautiful, right? That was such an honor for me to know that I could retire them. If I just did a couple projects for them each year, I would do that, to my end of days, because they've given me so much, not only as a family and in my heart, but also.
Yeah. Cause he's taught you to fish, so you don't have to just, that's so good. So good.
That's really, really wonderful. And I want to do that for other families and other men and women also, because this is important. We need to start taking our life into our own hands and really making great use of our time. Because you never know, tomorrow could be completely different. So I don't plan on working past 40 years old, because I want to spend more time, not only with my future wife and kids, but I want to spend more time involved in like missionary work, and really making a difference in this world. And making a difference is by creating transformation, not just giving people information. So I want to create transformation within their heart, and once they feel that, then it translates to the mind, and then you create action with that. So that's my true goal there.
That's awesome, man.
Coming into the now and forever.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. That's awesome. So I know one thing that agents struggle with, it seems like, when it comes to video, well, any content creation, I guess, is consistency. Like, having, so if you say I'm going to do one video a week or what have you, to stick with that, right? What are you doing to prepare to make sure that you stick with all the content creation side of it?
Yeah. So I learned this very early on. I used to own a clothing line also. And I was always running around like, hey, can you take photos with me? Can we go here? Can we meet there? Like every week, like it was just became a pain. So I figured out that I need to create a media bank account, if you will, or a content bank account. So I'll take one day a month, and I'll meet with my videographer and my photographer, and we'll be there for 2 or 4 hours. and we'll just create all our content for the month. Boom, done.
That's how you do it.
That's literally how easy it is.
Yeah.
Every agent that struggles with putting themselves on camera is just because they're self-conscious. Like literally, it's all it is.
Yeah.
They don't like the way they look. They don't like the way their hair is. They don't like their makeup. They don't like the way their voice sounds. Trust me, man. I was like, my first video took me 19 takes.
That's it.
I'm not perfect, and I'm still not perfect. Right?
Yeah. But
it takes time, but you have to get it done. You know, I always just put myself in a mindset that where I have to do this. I was like, this is what I used to say to myself. I was like, if I didn't even have kids at the time. I was like, if it came down to me and me putting food on the table for my son, he's going to eat.
Sure.
So if I have to get over my fear of being on video, it's already done, over.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, like that's a different.
Yeah. That's your why, your big why.
That's your why. Now you're up against a wall. What are you going to do? You going to cry? You sit down? Stand up?
Here's the record button.
A lot of people have to be checked. Like that's the reality of it. Like, what do you want? Why'd you join this business? You think things are going to be handed to you? You have to, you need to deserve this. I was like, just because you got a real estate license doesn't mean people are going to do deals with you. It's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
So give them the reason. And you have to give tough love. You have to give tough love sometimes to agents. I was like, I'm telling you everything you need to be doing and you're not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? I was like, you say you want to do 20 deals this year. How are you going to do it? If he knows you're an agent. So what are you going to do different? How are you going to build an audience? How are you going to create an audience? The database I've been telling you to put on an Excel spreadsheet for 2 years, you still haven't even done. Same thing.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, right? Same thing, right? It's the same thing. I was like, get focused, man. Get focused. Get focused. That's it. Get focused. Put it down on a piece of paper. Hold yourself accountable. Because my business is, your business is not my responsibility. I can give you a roadmap. I can show you things you need to do, but you need to do the work. Not me.
Yeah.
This is your business, and this is your income. This is your livelihood. So if you're not happy with what you made this year, whose fault is that? Mine? Nope. Not mine at all. It's not the market.
One of the things I noticed with successful agents or anyone who's successful in business, they're willing to give the roadmap and they'll do it all the time on video, on paper, whatever. But they do that because, number one, to help people. But then secondly, they know that the majority of the people will not follow that roadmap.
They won't. That's what's sad. So why is that? Right? Especially if you're a new agent, it comes down to confidence. Right? What do you know when you first become an agent? 43,560. How many? That's about all you remember.
1 acre.
Yeah, 1 acre. That's a little bit like all you remember. You don't remember anything else. Because guess what? In school, they don't teach you how to run a business.
Yeah, and we also learn how to say realtor.
Yeah, realtor. I was like, and that's what this is, guys. That like you becoming an agent is you opening up your own business.
Yep.
Just because it just is like this. It's like if you open up a restaurant, you open up your doors. Who's going to walk in? Nobody. Nobody knows you.
That's right.
Nobody knows you even there. Nobody knows what you serve.
Yeah.
So how are you going to do that? You need to brand yourself. You need to market yourself. You need to advertise. You need footsteps. You need traffic on your videos. You need footsteps and traffic on your doors. I don't care if you have to have 5 or 6 or 7, coffee appointments in a day. Go start meeting people and start getting on video. And the ones that finally do and believe in that, great. I'm happy for you because I'm going to see your business grow. I'm going to see your business really start to take off. And the ones that don't, we already told you so.
Yep. So we talked about YouTube. Are you, there a lot of people seem to be jumping on some of the other video platforms now too. I know some agents that are starting to use Facebook Reels, which are the short, 1 minute videos. With some success. TikTok. I know a lot of agents using TikTok, it seems like now too, but do you see your brand more on YouTube, or are you going to try to put a little bit on each one of those?
TikTok, I'm on TikTok. I always try to stay on top of social media, but the demographic on there that's mainly watching it is not going to be a home buyer or a home seller anytime soon. And I'm not looking to just grow a brand just to grow a brand. I'm looking to grow a brand with purpose. So my biggest focus is always on Facebook and Instagram. I have a bigger Instagram following. I think between Instagram and Facebook, I'd have 25,000 followers, which is great. But what does that really mean? It doesn't really mean.
That's right.
Right. But to some people, to like millennials, like, oh, wow, you have 20,000 followers. It's like street cred, right? It's like instant credibility. But ask me what that means to me. You think I hold myself, up here because of that? Absolutely not. My value is in the relationship that I have with you, and that I can create with you, and the information I can give you to better your life, right? And I'm just a liaison to help you to get from point A to point B. And if you want to have the conversation on how we can do that together for your goals, not mine, for your goals, let's do it. And building that relationship with somebody virtually through video is key. One of the biggest things that my broker and I talked about this morning, people need to have empathy. Empathy as far as like how you're going to show up when somebody wants to use you as far as a real estate specialist, a real estate professional. Do I get the warm and fuzzies when I'm going to use you? Do I trust you? It comes down to that, man. Like anybody can just talk, but do I believe you? I believe what you're going to say. Like, are you a trustworthy person? Do you come off as a trustworthy person? When I first got into into marketing myself, I was 25 at the time. So I'd always try to look GQ, to the side with the suit and everything. I wanted to look older than I was so I could create trust with an older generation, because my friends weren't really buying at the time. It worked, to a degree, but then as my millennial generation came through, I started to see that people weren't really wanting the GQ look, right? Or like the suit look. They wanted somebody more relatable, right? So I changed up my profile picture. My demeanor on video is completely different. The way I deliver my information is completely different. The way I close out my videos is completely different. I'm here to serve you. I'm here to serve you.
Yeah.
That's what
I'm looking forward to seeing how your YouTube channel, grows throughout 2022 for sure. Some of the agents that I know that are crushing it on YouTube right now, I mean, some of them say that, it obviously builds that know, like, and trust factor, right? Because people have watched so many of their videos, kind of like what you said, they're watching a TV show almost, right? To where they feel like they know you, like you're a friend. And some of them have told me that it's pretty crazy. They'll get somebody call and want to list their house, and they'll be like, I can't believe I've got you on the phone. I can't believe you're going to list my house. This is awesome. Yeah,
I've had a couple of people like that, mainly out of state. Like I've had some from like Georgia and like Washington and like stuff reach out, and I'm like, well, I can't help you out there, man. And I was like, if you want to move here, I definitely can. As my YouTube, starts to grow, YouTube for me is just going to be another stream of income. So once you get it to like monetize, that's great. That's wonderful. And then I'm going to use it, to drive traffic to the course I'm going to be building in this year as well. That's all it is. That's the only reason I'm creating it, and also to create just additional credibility, because, Google owns YouTube. So we'll Google your name. Guess what? All the videos are going to be right there. And then it's just like if somebody comes up to your Instagram profile and says, oh, wow, you have 20,000 followers. Like, oh, dang, one of his videos has 100,000 views and he has like 1,000 subscribers, all that kind of stuff. Right. So that means that this many people trust you. So I should trust you. Yeah. So now they're more inclined to actually give you that phone call. So I'll have to, once that blows up, which it will, I'll have to have, quite a bit of referral partners, in different states, strategic for referral partners. So I make sure that those clients are all taken care of. And if I have to, stay in tune with the transaction and just follow up and see how these agents are doing, make sure they're getting a wonderful experience, I'll be doing that, as well. But YouTube is going to be an additional revenue stream outside of my traditional business, outside of the flipping business, outside of my rental portfolio, outside of Bitcoin and all kinds of crazy stuff. So you have to have multiple streams, because you never know in this market if something happens.
That's right.
So you're into Bitcoin, huh?
Just a little bit. No, trust me. I look at it maybe like once a month.
Ethereum. I lots of different coins at this point, or what?
Yeah, I think I'm dabbling into five.
Okay.
think I got Bitcoin. I got quite a bit of Ethereum. I still have XRP. I think Ava is another one. Some other ones. Yeah. So I think now the whole big question is like this metaverse thing.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to educate yourself on that in this digital world. And they're even selling digital parcels.
Yeah. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Right. I was like,
Yeah.
but that's a market, man. That's crazy. That's literally a market, because guess what? Because of YouTube and because of this digital space, even with gaming, it's a huge space. And there's so many adopters of it, right? That are such involved in the gaming world that they would just love the fascination and the fantasy of this. Wow, I can put on these goggles, and they're even talking about, the gloves that you can put on. It feels like you're actually things.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I forgot the name of that, but that's going to
there's a couple of movies about that.
Yeah.
Exactly that. I can't remember the names are right now, but
it's reality. So you want to be an early adopter of like all this stuff, all this tech-based stuff, because it's going to be huge. Like I invested into a fintech company in the beginning of this year. That's going to do very, very well. I'm really excited about that too. So I'll probably have them on the podcast to explain more on that coming in 2020.
Here's one of the things I find, and this really has nothing to do with real estate, but Jeff and I are probably in your brother's age range. Yeah. And, we were big time into technology, at least I was. And now that things are becoming a lot more different, the extreme technology for me is still like maybe the second series of Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
where now it's like 3D and virtual reality and all of that. It's just too much almost. So I'll be one of those old folks being like, oh yeah, I remember those days.
Absolutely. If you, like you said, like the people that didn't invest in Bitcoin are probably like now kicking themselves in the foot, right? And like, dang, like, look at what it's at now. Even if you just bought one coin a couple of years ago, even if people bought an Ethereum coin, like right now, what is it at? Probably $3,000. I don't know, $5,000, whatever. But if that 10X's in 3 years, hello.
Mm-hmm. Right? I have a friend that tells me all the time that I need to buy some XRP because he thinks that's going to be the one that's going to really take off.
I hope so, man. I got a lot of it.
And he said it's super, super cheap right now. So just buy some, he says.
Yeah, I hope so. Cause that'd be really nice. That's a nice little retirement there.
Yeah, for sure. Just make sure that you write down your passwords and stuff.
I heard about that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember how much it is, but it's millions upon millions of dollars. The guy couldn't log into his account anymore.
I hope he doesn't freak out when he puts in his last login and it fails.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Well, thanks for sharing with us, Josh. Anything else you want to make sure agents that are watching or listening, hear from you today?
Guys, it's the same thing I say to my team. It's the same thing that I say to a lot of agents that are new that, want to sit down with me. And the same thing that, I talk to with agents that have been in the business quite a few years and reach out to me. And anybody that asks, I'm happy to, spend time with them or at least have like a little phone call. But if you do not focus on your marketing and your advertising first, it's going to be a struggle for you. It's going to be a struggle for you because your warm market with your family and friends are eventually going to tap out. And don't be shocked when your friend that knows you're a real estate agent decides not to use you. I was like, when that stings, when you get that burn, because it will happen, who should you be upset at? Them or yourself? You need to be upset at yourself because you weren't in front of them enough to build trust with them to do that transaction. So get on video, start doing photos, start posting at least 2 to 3 times a week, get yourself out there and educate yourself. There's so many classes that you can tap into. There's so many mentors that you can ask, hey, can I get some help on this? And teach yourself, everything about the business, from your listing appointments to your buyers, to your investors, to wholesaling on how to flip. You want to be a very, very well-rounded agent, and you want to be able to attempt to satisfy everybody's real estate needs. If not, you want to be at least one phone call away. There's a lot of ways to make money in this game, and there's a lot of ways that you can service people. Try and be a master of as many as you can, or at least have a good base of them. If not, then partner with somebody that does and split the commission with it. But now the splitting the commission is like your tuition because you're going to learn from the experience. When I wanted to dabble into commercial, I brought on my mentor who taught me wholesaling, and we split it because I wanted to learn the process. So do that. Make sure you surround yourself with the right mentors, the right team, especially the right mindset. Go into 2022 with extreme confidence and extreme belief. Look yourself in the mirror every single day and say, I can do this, because you can. I can do this in 2022. I believe in yourself, and we'll believe in you.
Absolutely. So agents that are watching or listening, what's the best way for them to keep up with you, follow you?
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Just type in my name, Josh Zuniga, Zuniga. I should pop up. I'll give you guys a nice smile there. Just follow me. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'm happy to reach out.
Cool. I appreciate it. All right, man. You ready to get in the ring?
We are. Make it happen.
Let's do this. All right. Big shout out first to Security Title Agency and Fidelity National Home Warranty. If you haven't given them a shot, make sure to do so. All right. So why do you think that many agents are not successful?
They're not marketing enough.
Yep. We talked about that the whole time, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
It's absolutely true. How about a book recommendation?
Mine's actually one that's not even involved with real estate. Conversations with God. If you're asking questions about yourself and what's going on in life right now, there might even be some answers within that book that I found at the age of 19 and received quite a huge awakening. And it opened me up to a completely new experience in the world, and realized the beauty and the appreciation that this world has to offer every single moment, every single day.
Awesome. How about Apple or Android?
I used to be an Android guy, but I'm 100% Apple now.
Oh, no.
I haven't bought a Mac yet. I haven't bought a Mac or an iMac. That's a sting. That $1,300 is no joke. But I think I bite the bullet this year because I just got a new house and I want to deck out the office and make it really nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Some people don't watch a lot of TV, but if you do you have a favorite Netflix or Amazon Prime series?
Yeah, I don't watch much TV, but I did when Narcos is on. I am sucked into that. Yeah, I'm sucked into Narcos. I'm a big National Geographic documentary type guy. I always like learning something. I always think it's very fascinating. Planet Earth.
There's this new one on Apple TV with Will Smith called Earth. It's actually a really good one.
Okay, I see him. I follow him on Instagram, so I see him posting about that. So that sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, watch the first 2 episodes. They're actually pretty good.
Which network is it on?
Apple TV.
Apple TV. Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's another Apple product I don't have.
Yeah, Joey, what's up with that? You use Android, but you have Apple TV.
Hey, I don't hate Apple. I have an Apple laptop. I have an Apple TV. But when it comes to phones, I mean, it's just hard to not like Android. So.
Oh, you got that one that folds in half?
Yes. I'll tell you what, once you get this though, you can never go back to a regular phone because you got your regular phone here, right? And then you've got your semi-tablet here.
That's insane.
It's just so much easier to, anyway.
I didn't even know that was out. That's cool.
Yeah. If you don't want to go back to Android, don't touch this.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, Josh, thanks for being on here, man. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much, boys. I really appreciate it. It's good seeing you guys again.
Absolutely. A very positive message. So we appreciate it.
Yes, very. Thank you.
I hope so.
Get some agents off the fence and get them doing their videos and all that. So
wonderful. I wish everybody the best coming up.
All right. Well, until next time, agents, we will see you later.
All right. Take care, guys.
Adios.
Later.
All right.
Thanks.